Hi, we're Maddie and Nico, and we are turning this empty cargo van into this tiny home on wheels. We have no building experience, but we'll take you along each step as we transform our 2020 Ford Transit van. This week, we're installing our swivel seats. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel.
We're Maddie and Nico, and we're going to be installing some Scopima swivel seats.
Let's get to it.
Here's the things you're going to need for this install. 7mm socket, a 10mm socket wrench, 13mm wrench, 5mm hex wrench, and then we also have this to make it faster. So this right here is the airbag sensor. So the first thing you need to do is remove this. That's where the 7mm socket wrench comes in handy. Okay, so once you unscrew this, it'll just slide out, just like that. And you want to just make sure this wiring is out of the way because this whole seat is going to come off. Now that we got the airbag sensor off, there's 4 of these 10mm bolts kind of in these tracks. There's one here, one over there, and then there's 2 more in the back. So we'll start with the front, 2 in the back, 1 here and there. Put down your swivel and line it up with the holes. The bolts just came out. So in order to bolt this down, you want to offset your swivel so you can reach these holes. You don't want to bolt through this one and that one.
It's going to use these bolts that kind of have this nice flat top that come with the swivel seat. So the last screw doesn't really line up properly, so we are using clamps. You want to hold this one?
Because right now.
And now we're going to push the rails forward.
So you want that part to face the nut. Forward. Great. So what's this?
So that's gonna have to be chopped off. Yeah.
Oh, good.
We gotta cut this. I think it's a baby seat anchor, but we ain't got no babies, so that's good.
And you just need to cut it so the seat can swivel. Sounds silly. Sounds bad. Something's scraping.
The whole thing out.
Alright, I am disconnecting the airbag sensor here.
Alright, something to note about this 7mm bolt. It doesn't actually come all the way out. It just unscrews from the back. Once you unscrew it, you can pull this whole clip out. You can take this little clip back here, pull it, So that comes off. And there's another one back here. Okay, so you're left with this. Right under here is a battery. Some people have 2 batteries. I think we have 1. Gonna take off this piece. Just prying these out with a pair of pliers. And then the next step is going to be taking this metal T off. These bolts here are socket size 8 millimeters. We have to cut. There's a zip tie right here. Okay. Next step is to take out the battery, and you just want to get it off the terminals here. And I believe it's a 10 millimeter socket.
Probably got mounts in it or something. Okay.
That mess down there.
Oh, that's easy to take care of. I know the people that can clean that.
So we got the battery box out, batteries out. This is your wiring harness for airbag sensors, everything to do with the e-brake. I think these just kind of pull off. Okay, so we just got this loose so we can access the back of it. And now there's this cable or wire that has this little rubber grommet on this side, kind of holding everything together, which runs up here, and we just need to disconnect it here. Got that. I'm gonna run it through, and then there's a zip tie on the bottom end. So I'm gonna pull out this rubber grommet. That's the rubber grommet I was talking about.
Okay, there are 3 bolts behind here, and the next step is to remove those bolts. For the top screws, you can loosen them with the wrench, and then we were able to get to them with our drill, so that way it's a little bit quicker. Not that one, no, just one of them.
It's just that easy. So now that I remove these plastic pieces, it reveals the bolts down in here and their 7 millimeter socket. And this is, I think, the last thing that is holding this. Oh, I guess it comes apart like that. Okay, and then you got to get this cable out. This is the cable that actually activates the handbrake. And you can just kind of pry it out, I think. You might have to loosen the brake cable to do that.
What are you doing? Are you climbing under?
Found how you loosen the brake cable. To loosen it, there's 2 nuts. This top one just needs to be let out. And then this bottom one also will go that way. And these are 13 millimeter, just so you know. Once they're broken free, you can just do it by hand. So now that we loosen this cable, should be way easier. Yeah, boom. And then you just need a pair of pliers on this white piece of plastic. To go through and release your e-brake. So next step after you get the e-brake off is removing this metal plate. And it just looks like these 4 bolts. And these are 13 millimeter. Should just come off like that. Into the pile. Okay. Okay, so I got my adapter plate now on e-brake, and then there's 3 open holes, and those holes are gonna line up with this, this, and this. But first we have to modify this base plate, so I think we're gonna have to cut out this maybe. So we just finished cutting this base plate. We also cut this here. It extended up here, but this bolt needed to be removed anyway, so there's no point of having that piece of metal there. So we cut that out. And now our e-brake can sit flush down in here. The longer piece fits just in here, and then it just gets bolted to these 3 holes. So now we're just attaching the base plate again with these 3 nuts. I already did 2 of them. I think this has to go down like that. We'll check that on the bottom side just to make sure it's not hitting anything. But we'll go from here. Okay. So now we've got these on. Our adapter plate is now functional.
Next is putting that cable back in.
Yeah, it's nice and loose, so it's super easy. It's also lower, which makes it even easier. And again, we're gonna have to readjust this because it's probably way too loose. So now there's just a bunch of slack underneath the car. After bolting about 6 bolts down, I realized we'll probably need to undo them all because there's this rubber grommet that this e-brake wire goes to. It runs through this box, but the rubber grommet needs room right here, and we don't have any room. So we have to reset from the beginning.
We just hooked back up to that there. It's the thing that we had to feed through, and now we will put in those bolts.
When you lower this, since this is now lower than it was, it hits right here. And I think you want this to be able to go down. See how it's smashing? I think we'll have to cut this plastic. No big deal. Been cutting metal all day, so.
What's a little plastic?
This. Yeah, bitch.
It's new. Yeah.
Don't forget your vent tube.
It is. It's a vent.
It's a vent. Don't know how it works.
But it does
it's a
work.
vent. Okay, so this is what sits on top of that battery box I just put in. And I know I need to reroute the airbag sensor right in the middle because the seat swivel will be right here. So I want the wire to come up from underneath through this middle so it can be in the hole of the swivel seat. So I'm just gonna cut a hole here big enough to squeeze the thing through.
Hello from the future. Welcome to Lessons Learned, where we go over everything that we learned while we built this part of our van, as well as what's been working and what has not been working while living on the road.
Lesson 1 is the factory holes on our van, at least, did not line up with our swivel seats. We bought Scopima swivel seats, and I don't know if it's our van or
the
their
swivels.
product that doesn't line up. To make it work for us, as you saw in the video, we just used a series of clamps to pull the metal frame, you know, maybe like 1/8 of an inch over one way so it could get on the tab. It was quite annoying to deal with, and if you want to avoid this completely, you can order a van brand new with swivel seats straight from the factory. That is probably a little bit more expensive, but gives you peace of mind.
If you are gonna install a diesel heater like we did underneath your passenger seat, consider doing it now, because if you get a swivel seat like ours where the holes don't line up, it's a huge pain to take it off, and you'll have to take it off again and line it back up again later. My best advice is, if you're gonna put a heater under there, time it out so you're working on the heater while you do the swivel. So you take your chair off, you install your heater, you install your swivel, you put your chair on. That's the best way to do it.
To go off that, when you're doing your driver's side, at least in the Ford Transit, the battery and a bunch of electronics are underneath the driver's seat. So when you take off your driver's seat and put your swivel on, it's a good idea to at least put your signal wire to your DC to DC charger, if you're going to have one of those, also sometimes known as a D+ wire. Also, while you're under there, you can put the negative to the DC charger straight to the battery.
Depends on your DC charger though, and what it requires. If you have anything that would require you for your electrical to get under the seat to that battery, you may as well do it while the seat is not on.
I also installed a subwoofer down there. If you're going to do that, do it while everything's off.
The next thing on our list is the metal rails that our chairs slide on are a little bit long, so that when the seat swivel around, they kind of scrape on the plastic part of our doors. You can either cut off the rail by a little bit, or you can do what we did and just learn to live with it.
Yeah, we're scraping our doors every day. To go off that last point, the plastic on the e-brake, which you have to lower to install the swivel seat, the plastic on the chair and the e-brake kind of rub together when you're swiveling, and it kind of gets caught on it, but if you do it right, it's fine. Our e-brake has looked better, but again, we've learned to live with it, and doesn't really bother us.
As you saw in the video, when you lower the e-brake, you will have to kind of cut out the little plastic part that goes around it. You could just not have that plastic part, but then it's pretty ugly and exposed ugly car parts. We kept that there, but you do have to cut it a little bit in the front in order for the handbrake to fully sit back down there and be low enough that the seat's not going to scrape on top of it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Give it a like if you found it helpful and leave us a comment below. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. We're coming out with new videos every Sunday. We'll see you in the next video.